Thank you, and thank you for giving the possibility also to have a speak with you here and have a discussion about biodiversity. I was supposed to show some pictures about the region of Europe, but I won't do that, so I just go on and use and reuse some of my old pictures from yesterday, but add another discussion to it. This is so we should know where Malmö is located. We are not in a tropical area. We don't have all the wonderful birds and the nature that you have here, of course. We are in a subarctic part of the world. So, and this picture is not a picture about biodiversity. When we had this picture, then in our city we don't think so much about biodiversity. We don't think so much about nature. It was more on how we are creating money, in what way we are getting people richer. This was the way it was some 50 years ago. That was the mindset of the people. And here we started to reshape this former shipyard area. And when we wanted to do that, we had a discussion. You know, I told you yesterday about the Rio 92, that was about climate change, but that was also about biodiversity. It was about the forest that's gone away, the rainforest that has been cut down. And when this has been evacuated, this area, we had a lot of birds here. We had the black-headed seagulls and all, and we said, we are going to build houses here. And then they said, oh, how can you do that? You are destroying the bird nests here. So we had a very much discussion. How shall we preserve the nature while we are trying to make a sustainable society here? So it started with, and then I continue to show here. Now, is there a pointer on this one? Yes, there is one like that. Look here. Here we have the green area out here where that was still nature preserved. And when we were building this part, it was very important for us to build this green corridor. That green corridor is for the species to be able to connect with this part and the part up here. So that was the mindset of it. Look on the biodiversity at the same time as you are creating a society that is sustainable from other points of view. And here you can see the green channel, how it looks when it's coming into here, where we try to get the different natures. You see the green canal that's coming in between there. And in that way, when we looked on these roofs, yesterday I told about this from resilient point of view, how you prevent the storm water to make flooding. But this at the same time is a perfect area for biodiversity. A 12-year-old child told me about this. I heard when she explained for her fellows, why do you have these green roofs? Oh, you know, here we had grass before, and then they put the house on this grass. So all the insects and the birds didn't have anywhere to lay. So they lifted up the grass and put it on the top of the roof. So the insects and birds could survive in that way. That was that girl's way of looking upon this, and I think that was wonderful. And of course, water is the source of life. And here, where we have this storm water, here you have all these sort of frogs, you have the butterflies, you have the dragonflies, you have all these sort of insects just in the center. And when they build these houses, we told them the prerequisite to be able to build this house, you must keep up to some green points. We bought that from Berlin, where they use this green point system. So if you build a house, either you make a pond, or you make grass, or grass on the roof, or the green wall, or you make this hives for the birds, or things like that. And they had to show that they did that. So they came out in many different ways. And important is, when you're talking about biodiversity, don't only think about the big parks, the splendid things where we preserve the red-listed animals and birds, but it's also about the daily life, what's happening outside my window. That is the understanding of biodiversity. And of course, in these ponds, here you have flounder fishes, you have crabs and things like that. We don't know how they came here, because it's not contact with the sea. But we believe that maybe the seagulls or something dropped something down there. So now it's lots of lives inside these ponds also. And of course, the green roofs and the green walls are very important. This is one of the prerequisites when we make master plans. to see what is the biotope before you are making the planning. What sort of soil is it? What sort of prerequisite for animal life and birds are there before you are making the plans there? So that is one part before you make the master plan. And of course, also the NGOs, those that are counting the birds, they are very important because they keep up the knowledge about it. Here you can see they are counting all the birds, how many they see from and which parts they found them also, and then they put these rings on them and follow them. And in forests and parks, make this sort of very easy things for the kids to understand what are these special birds feeding on, and what's the name of the bird that looked like that and sings like that. Because the most important is to get the next generation to understand the nature, to feel the wonders of the nature. And of course, the marine life, you know, about 70% of the life on the earth, that is under the sea. Of course, we don't have the coral fishes and things like you have here, or the sea stones, but we have quite nice prawns, and we have these tobis fishes and things like that. And it's very important when the kids go out there and look and see the wonders that are on the bottom. And they take their parents there, and this is sort of open your eye process for the kids there. And this is NGOs that started this. So from the city, we enhance the NGOs to keep on like that, of course. And of course, here you have an awful wound. That is a limestone quarry, 1.5 kilometers long, 1 kilometer wide, and 60 meters below sea level down there. This is an awful wound, of course, and when that was finished some 10 years ago, not more, almost 20 years ago, then we just let the water come in and fill it up so it will become a lake. But no, this has become, of course, a very precious part for the nature, because here you have species that you don't have in other places. And so, for instance, we have the green-dotted tord, a red-listed tord. We have the peregrine falcon's nest in there, and we have the sand martin's nest, and all these, and deers down there, and foxes, and all these sort of animals there. So we had a discussion with the government to make this a nature reserve instead. So today we can go down there, people from the city can go there in guided tours to see there, not to disturb the life that is down there, but see the wonders. What's happening when you leave that wound open, how nature comes back, and what sort of animals, birds take that in position. And for instance, when we are making landfills, like we do at the same way as you are doing here in Singapore, of course it's very important to see that we also there can enhance the nature, see that we preserve some part of it to make a better biotope. For instance, here you can see the paid avocat that is walking there, and you can see the other waders walking there. So in that way, we also can not only prevent to destroy the biotope, but also try to get a new biotope to come back there, to make the society more rich in that ways. And of course, when you are making wounds like that in the nature, putting the highway through that, then we make tunnels under, the tunnels that sometimes can just be pipes for snakes to go through, or for the hedgehogs to go through, and also we make bridges over that for the animal life to go over from one part to another. Other parts, we lift all the road up to make an aqueduct, where all the nature goes under that, to have the understanding where nature has to be connected with each other. And of course, I told you yesterday about these green roofs. On top of these green roofs, we have beehives, we have humblebees and things like that. And even on our opera house, we have beehives, lots of beehives up on the top of the opera house, singing their songs. And we think that is wonderful also, of course. And you can see that it can be quite rich life on top of the roofs here, where we have trees and bushes like that. And of course, that was mentioned before. In Nagoya, we had the first, I was taking part in Nagoya from representing the European Committee of the Regions. And there we had these negotiations that it's not only a question for the national state. It's also a question on the local and regional authorities, the same as we did in Rio. We are not part of the major groups, women, children, indigenous people, business sector, farmers. We are governmental stakeholders. And in that way, we must take a responsibility for what we are doing. I'm not going to read this, you have done it already. And the Scroll of Honor, that is also about biodiversity, not only about energy. So thank you very much for your kind attention.